My mom spent a total of 33 days in that hospital. I didn't sleep Saturday night. It was a long night. I woke up Sunday morning. I didn't even get a solid hour of sleep in. Every time that night, I would wake up, I would kind of doze off, and then I would wake up, and the first thing I would do is check my mom's chest. Is she breathing? Is it moving? Holy shit. I'm going to tell you guys something, man. 10 years ago, I really don't think I would have been able to sit there by myself. But unfortunately, there is times in life where you're forced to face things and you have no choice. I made a promise to my mom in the very, very beginning of this that I was going to hold her hand to the very end. And that's exactly what I did to the very last minute. I'm very proud of myself for what I did for her. I wake up that morning after maybe sleeping for like, I don't know, 45 minutes. I didn't get a solid hour of sleep that whole night. And I open my eyes. My mom's here. And of course, the first thing I do is look at her. You're on alert. The adrenaline was keeping me going that night. Every time something would happen, I would wake up and be like, oh my God, what just happened? What just happened? What's going on? It finally fell asleep for a little bit. And I wake up and my brother is sitting in the room with two cups of coffee. And I'm like, hi? And he goes, you could go home. Oh, thank you. Thank you for, giving me permission to go home. Thank you. All right. Fucking asshole. And I did go home. I just needed to get out of the hospital for a couple minutes, clear my mind, change, clean myself up, got dressed, and I came right back up to the hospital. My husband decided he was going to come back up to the hospital with me to say goodbye to my mom, with my son. God. So it was the morning time, and we head back up to the hospital. My husband took his own car, my son. My son was only 3 years old. Didn't really understand what was going on at the time. My husband had a really close relationship with my mom. I know it was hard for him. We head back up the elevator. Let's keep in mind that my brother tells me I could go home. We're walking down the hallway. It's just me, my husband, and he's holding my son in his arms, right? We walk into the room, my mom's room. And at this point in time, my mom was still in the double room. The doctor had told us that morning that the person who was in the private room was getting discharged, and that once they left and housekeeping came, he would put us in that room so we could have some privacy. Anyway, so we walk into the room. The curtain was like completely drawn. Sometimes it was like halfway so you could see like the foot of my mom's bed. But this time it was like kind of like almost curving towards her bed. You know how like the track curves so you could put it in front of the bed? We really couldn't see anything, We walk in the room. We get into the room, right? Finally get to a point where we could see around the curtain. And my brother and his wife are sitting there. The bed is here, okay? Here. There's a chair here and a chair here. Satan's sitting in the chair closest to my mom's head. And my brother's sitting in the other chair. And I'm just like, what? And this all happened so quick, okay? So all of a sudden, my husband and I, as we were walking in, and I'm using this bag to demonstrate, I see Satan sitting next to my brother. And this is all we see. We see this. We see her pull out a packet of papers, right? And as soon as she looked up and noticed that it was me and my husband, this is what happened. I'm not kidding you guys. That's how it went down. So me and my husband, we look at each other, and my husband goes, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, some shady ass shit apparently. What the fuck is this girl shoving paperwork in her bag? It was like a packet, and she just shoved it in her bag. And dude, when I tell you she had the fucking Kung Fu death grip on this bag, she had this ugly Michael Kors tote bag, and she's holding it like this. Death grip. I felt like my blood pressure go up. I'm like, what's going on right now? Why are you hiding paperwork? What do you have to hide from us? Sneaky assholes. I was like, dude, I'm out of here. I'm done. I gotta go. Me and my husband just walked out. Obviously didn't want to start anything in my mom's room. We go downstairs. We're outside in the parking garage. We're fucking pacing back and forth. I'm smoking a million cigarettes. My cousin Nico comes up and she's like, what's going on? And we kind of explain the story to her. And she's like, dude, what are they doing? Again, at this point in time, we didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if they were trying to get my mom to sign something. I just had no idea. I was so pissed. And my husband, let me tell you something. It takes a lot lot to get him to a point, especially like to a point where he's gonna say something to my family. He's a pretty calm, rational dude, my husband, but over this last few weeks, you know, we've been threatened with court and stolen property and all this other bullshit. We got up back upstairs, right? By the time we got up there, they were now switching my mom into this private room, right? So we get up there and my brother and Satan are like back and forth with her shit, walking all over the fucking place, putting things down, you know, whatever. My husband was standing there. I remember he's holding my son. Like I could see he's like he's just about to say something, you know? She's walking in and out and they're just like totally avoiding us, acting like everything's completely normal. It's all good over here. Show must go on. Ultimately, my husband decided, you know what? It's not the time right now. My family, he knows how my family is, and they're all gonna blame us. Oh, Leanna and Chris are starting problems. Ugh. This could wait. We ultimately decided it wasn't a good time to say something, and we just like, whatever. It's about 12 o'clock now. My husband's like, I don't want to be up here with any of these fucking assholes from your family. You know, except a select few. He meant my Aunt Betty and my Aunt Debbie and my brother, obviously. And my Uncle Bob, asshole. It's 12 o'clock. My brother comes up to me and he goes, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, here we go. And he's like, so remember yesterday when me and Satan thought we should call somebody for the funeral home? Yeah, they're gonna be here at 3 o'clock. Come again? Excuse me? What? Huh? Why did you ask my opinion yesterday if you were just gonna go do whatever the fuck you wanted to do anyway? Why even ask my opinion about it? Why? My blood was boiling. Shouldn't we be like spending every last second in the room with her instead of worrying about planning her funeral? So I said to him, why did you do that? And he's like, well, you know, it's a good idea to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're a fucking asshole. I just walked away. I was like, whatever. I'm fucking pissed off now. I just didn't want to make a big deal of it. I was really, really, really pissed off. Time went by. It's around 2 o'clock. You know what kills me? There was other people there who agreed that it was a horrible idea, but nobody stuck up for me. Nobody said to my brother, you know what, Steven, this isn't a good idea. It could wait. So I felt like I was alone. Nobody had my back except my cousin Nico. She was the only one who said anything to anybody. I don't know if she said anything to them, but I know she expressed that she thought it was wrong. Nobody else expressed it. And there was other people there who thought it was wrong, but they didn't express it. I was so pissed off. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette, clear my head. So I'm on my way down the hallway. My family took over this little waiting room, right? And all of a sudden, my Aunt Betty comes out and she comes walking down with her fake ass self and she's like, Rihanna, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, what? Like, really, what? She's like, do you mind if the brothers and sisters sit in on the meeting with the funeral director? I just turned to her and I was like, I don't give a fuck what anybody does because this is fucking bullshit and it's a waste of fucking time. And then I just walked away from her and I went down the elevator and I went outside and smoked my cigarette. Am I wrong here, guys? Like, listen, I know people pre-plan funerals. I get it. All we needed was a phone call. There was no need to have the funeral home come to the hospital. And I didn't find this out until a couple of weeks later when I started seeing a grief counselor. My grief counselor worked for the funeral home that we had my mom's wake at and my dad's wake at, right? She worked there for 20 years. She's been in the industry, you know, grief counseling and dealing with funeral homes for 20 years. She goes, Leanna, that is the first time in 20 years of my life that I have ever heard of a representative from the funeral home coming up to a hospital to plan a funeral. They don't do that. That's not normal. I was beyond pissed. I go downstairs, I'm smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden out of the corner of my eye, I see this woman walking and she has this blue kind of, you know, business get up on. She's holding a briefcase and I see she has a little name tag on and it says the name of the funeral home and I recognize the logo right away. So I throw my cigarette. I'm like, let me go upstairs now. I have no choice now. I have to deal with this now. Otherwise, what? I'm not going to have a say in what happens at my mom's wake. And again, this was all part of the show. Let's put the show on that we fucking care. I come up the elevator, I look in the little room and nobody's in the room. I told you guys this in another video. The hallway was like a circle. It was like round, literally. This whole hospital was like a circle. So I'm walking around and all of a sudden, like around the bend, I see Satan walking down the hallway coming towards me. The fiery pits of hell opened up, and here she comes, the devil herself, walking down the hallway with the funeral director, and she has this big shit-eating grin on her face. And something about it, dude, rubbed me the wrong way. And I walk up to her, and she's short, Satan. She's like a good 3 or 4 inches. And I literally like got right above her in her face. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. This is my mother. It's none of your business. And she's like, yes, I was talking to you. I don't even know what the fuck she said. And all of a sudden, she turns around and she's like, and I hear her feet storm down the hallway. Seriously, dude, why is this girl talking to the funeral director? Or just go home. I don't care. Call me a drama queen. I don't give a fuck, dude. If you saw what I saw and you went through what I went through for the last couple of months with these fucking assholes, you would do the same thing. And if you wouldn't, then you don't fucking care about the people you say you care about. Get the fuck out of here if you don't think that's right. I had a right to do that. I'm not talking to my subscribers. I'm talking to my family if they're watching this. Anyway, she fucking storms off. Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm like shaking now, okay? Because when I get really pissed and I can't express my anger to its fullest, what happens to me is I get like shaking with anger. I walk in the room, everybody's sitting down. There was no chairs left because there was like about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 chairs there. All of my mom's brothers and sisters are in there, not their husbands or wives or anything, right? We're in a square room, and this, like, the walk in the door and the wall that you walk in the door had chairs, and then this wall that was, like, on the hallway had chairs. So I was on that wall that you're facing when you walk in. I walk in, and I sat like this. This was me in the thing, sitting like this on the floor because I was so fucking angry, right? My brother's sitting like parallel to me. He's sitting in the row of chairs this way, okay? And he's sitting in one of the chairs. You know, we're sitting there, and this lady looked so uncomfortable, this funeral lady. I mean, you could literally take a chainsaw and fucking cut the tension that was in that room that day. My cousin Nikki came in, and she sat like across from me over there. Her dad was sitting in the chair. She kind of sat on the arm. And me and her just kept looking at each other. At least somebody had my back in this. Nothing got accomplished. There was nothing that happened in this meeting that couldn't have waited 2 days or 3 days or 4 days or whatever it was until my mom actually died. I left out a pretty big detail, I realized, in the last video, and I just want to add this in. During that meeting where the, lady from the funeral home came in, during that whole shit show, there was a point where the woman asked if my mom had a will. My brother answers her and goes, I don't know. And that was the only time during the meeting that I really spoke up. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? You went in her safe how many times? And he's like, oh, I didn't know if she got it changed. I said, well, she didn't get it changed. And I said, she has a will, and her are the executors. I pointed to my Aunt Debbie and my Aunt Betty, right? My Aunt Debbie said, this isn't the time for this stuff. And I turned to her and I said, it's also not the time for lying. It was an important thing, and you guys are going to know why soon.